Hi, and welcome to another Soulbook Club with Chrissie B. For those of you who are new, welcome. My name's Chrissie B. I'm a creativity coach, and I hope to empower you and inspire you to add some creativity to your everyday life. So let's just get started. This is something new. I am trying on one of my art canvases. I'm trying to figure out like what to put on the outside of my Soulbook. I think it's time to have something on the outside. And although this one is auditioning, this piece of art canvas that I've painted on, I'm not really feeling this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this one off, and hopefully next week I'll have an actual art cover on my Soulbook that I will be super jazzed about, and I can't wait to show you. So let's set that one out of my way. This week I'm just gonna kind of open my Soulbook, and I wanna show you kind of some things I've done this week. I really haven't worked a lot in my Soulbook this week. It's been a very busy week. I have a little bit of a chest cold going on, so if you hear that in my voice, that's what that's all about. I'm totally fine. But long story short, I really didn't take a lot of time to work in my Soulbook. I did do a little bit of art journaling, or a little bit of journaling, filling in some journaling prompts. This was a page that was super hard for me, but I took some distress ink and washed some blue on the back, and for some reason that made it easier for me to actually write on it and answer these questions that were really kind of hard for me to answer. I filled in a little bit about what it's like to be a highly sensitive introvert. I have more, but yeah, I haven't been really feeling it. I did finish 2 books this week. The Cozy Life, Rediscover the Joy of the Simple Things Through the Danish Concept of Hygge. I think I told you last week that I was in the middle of reading that. I also finished New Moon by Stephanie Meyer. I was on a bit of a reading slump at the beginning of this year, and I had to like read a couple of like really fluffy books, which is The Lady's Hand and Falling for the Highlander. Those are like those seedy paper romances. In my house we call them Lust in the Dust books because they're like the raunchy bodice ripper style romance novels, and I actually just read those one in a day, one another day, just to kind of like get the ball rolling. I was so stuck in my reading, and I am quite an avid reader, and I don't know why I had been stuck for so long. So that kind of got me off of the dry spell. But then I needed a really like fluffy kind of series that I kind of go back to, which is Twilight. You know, you either love it or you hate it. I personally like the story. It's not like great literature, but I love the story and I love the people, and you know, like the main character drives me bananas. She's just very whiny, and Bella, she's very whiny and drives me crazy. But I started reading that again, and my goal is to read 25 books this year, and I thought reading the Twilight series would kind of get me going. Well, I read Twilight, and then I didn't want to read all fiction books. I'm really on a path of, you know, rediscovery of who I am and what I want, what's most important to me. I really want to experience some personal growth this year. So I've decided that I'm going to do a fiction book, and then a nonfiction book, and then a fiction book, and then a nonfiction book. And I don't know what my next book is going to be. I've got a whole slew of them ready and waiting on my to be read pile. But I will pick that up starting tomorrow morning and start reading that. Let's see, what else have I done? I did a little bit of journaling on this page. This page is the page that I'm just going to start collecting receipts and whatnot of like little outings that Jason and I have, or that I have around Portland, trying to become a Portland native. And I just wrote a little journaling prompt to describe this day at Powell's, which was a lot of fun. What else? I just feel like I really haven't done much in here at all. I wrote on this, what's inspiring my creativity. Remember these, I told you last week, I just wrote these little things that were inspiring me, and I wanted to get them written down. However, I see that it bled, and that bothers me. This particular, so I have to figure out a way to fix that. Long story short, I have to figure a way to fix that. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna do that yet. I will figure it out and then show you when I get to it. This spread is about my experience with infertility and saying goodbye to the dream that my husband and I would have a large family. And I just kind of started it, and it says sometimes you have to say goodbye to a dream. It can be really painful, time-consuming, exhausting, and not as easy as you ever thought the process really should have been. And honestly, I got that sentence down, that thought down, and I couldn't do anymore. So I'll come back to that. It just just that little bit took a lot out of me, which is really kind of sad, but there you go. I found this image on the internet. I swear to God, I don't know where. It's by, it says Glowment in it on the bottom of it, so I'm assuming that's where it came from. But I think that it was someone else. It might have been Boho Berry. I've been watching a lot of Boho Berry YouTube videos, and that then led me to go to her website and like play around her blog and read some things. And I think that was in here. It's basically talking about creating the life that you want, and so I just love that. And side note on that, this particular company, you can go there and you can purchase this poster essentially, and they will give you a questionnaire that you can fill out, so that way when this poster is printed out, it fits exactly what you are saying. So I create the life that I want. I know I can have it. I'm excited to wake up near the ocean and start my day at 6 a.m. is what this one says. Mine would say, I'm excited to wake up in Portland and I start my day at 4:45 a.m., blah, blah, blah. And it basically would just fill in all of the little things with personalized to what you would want them to say. I did this one. I have just received the new Jane Davenport stamps, face stamps, and I'm really wanting to learn how to draw a face, like proper faces. And when I say proper faces, I mean like proper whimsical faces. Like I want the eyes to look like they belong together, the eyebrows look like they belong together, the nose looks like it's actually nose. So I basically stamped a bunch of her stamps, and then I didn't have enough. So I filled in a few of the blanks, this one, and this one with my own drawings. And the idea of this is I kind of looked at this, not a proper ATC size, because it's not a proper ATC size, which is an artist trading card. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's very popular, I guess, for people to create like miniature card size art pieces that they can then swap with their friends. So I thought that was a really good size for me to like practice my faces and hair on. And this spread is actually just to practice hair. So that's what this is going to be all about. I've got a couple of hair shapes, styles kind of penciled in. I'm not sure if I love them yet, but I basically stamped this down with an archival ink. And then the ones that I hand drew, I didn't have a pen in that exact ink color, so I just used a Sharpie pen. I just wanted them to be permanent. So, you know, my idea is that I'll come in and I'll draw the hair, and then if I'm really feeling froggy, I'm gonna paint and color them all in, and I'm hoping that they'll all be a little bit different. So maybe this one will be with watercolor, and this will be with acrylic, and this will be with gouache, and this one will be with, you know, maybe colored pencils, or maybe this one will be with all inks, you know. So I thought that'd be kind of fun. My only concern about doing this with the coloring them in is that they do bleed. So you can kind of see a ghosting of the faces because of the archival ink here. So I could either choose to like draw them on this side and like keep going with my whole idea of, you know, just having a place to practice my faces and hair and whatnot. But I don't know, I haven't decided yet. So I think when I put the color medium on them, I think the acrylic will do fine, but the watercolor and the gouache, and I think all of those, especially the ink for sure, they're all gonna bleed. So I have to figure out like, what is my method of combating that? Like I could technically like glue these pages together so that they're down, and it will make it like a double thickness. So that might be a really good idea. You can see that on this page I did some sprays, and it did bleed through, which is fine. I don't mind that at all. I kind of think it gives the page some personality. But yeah, more to come on that. I'm not really sure what to do with that yet. I did some more journaling around this funny little guy. I think I told you I picked him up. I don't know if I did or not. I picked him up on my first Thursday art walk last month with my girlfriend Ashley, and I couldn't afford any of the things that were out. They were just so expensive, but I found this awesome little pamphlet, and I think it was for the one of the local art schools downtown. And so I picked him up, and I really liked him, so I cut him out and put him down on the page, and then I just did some journaling about how that whole night was for me, because for me that night was really life-changing. It was such a good, fun night. And then I told you last week that I had that stack of Post-it notes that I had written some thoughts that I needed to hear, and I was sharing those Post-it notes via picture on Instagram. So I took those and I cut them down, and then I put them onto a black gessoed page, and then I thought, because the I love the way that the black makes the fluorescent post-it note pop off the page. And then I thought it would be a lot of fun to just do a little bit of quick doodling with my white Signo broad pen. And then I just wrote all around the whole, I wanted a border, but I didn't want to just draw a plain border. I thought that'd be really boring. So I just wrote notes to self, notes to self, notes to self all the way around, because that's really what this page is, notes to myself. So I really like the way that turned out. I like the colors. I like the bright pop of color. And honestly, I think that might be everything I did in my Soulbook this week. It's been a long week. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for my weekend. So, do not settle. I'm gonna sit here for a minute. So let me tell you a little bit about my week. I've been having a lot of fun this week. My girlfriend Ashley, that's the one I went on the art walk with last month. She's really so good for me because she makes me get out and go like explore, and the way that we go and explore, it makes me see the world in a little bit different way than I'm used to. So this last Wednesday, she had sent me an email last weekend and said, hey, I found that, or text. She sent me a text last weekend and said, hey, I found this really cool life drawing class. And it's just drop in, teach yourself, just basically you have a model and they'll do the different poses for you and you can just sketch it. And I'm like, okay, that freaks me out. Like, that's terrifying, but sign me up, I'm in. Like, we'll do it. So I went and did that. I had my first life drawing class. And I know I'm gonna show you this, but I know you're not gonna be able to see it because one, they're terrible. They're really, really bad. I'm gonna show them to you sideways. And two, they're super, super, super light. So you might not be able to see any of them. But it was terrifying for me, and it was hard because I just felt so inadequate when I was looking around the room and seeing all of these artists and all of their canvases and their you know, whatever substrates they were working on, and they were so gorgeous and mine were so bad. Well, I'm okay with that. We're gonna go with that. That was literally my first time ever. Well, first of all, it was my first time ever seeing a naked woman where I just looked at her. I've never done that before. I've seen naked women before, but I've never actually like looked at a naked woman, like looked on purpose. Because usually in my world, when you see a naked woman, you like glance at them and look away really fast. Oh my God, okay, pretend you didn't see anything. It's all good, right? So this was just interesting, and it was pretty terrifying, to be honest with you, but I was so glad to be there with Ashley. She makes everything really nice and fun. And I had a blast. And what that life drawing class did for me is it actually like opened my eyes and made me fall back in love with the whole idea of drawing. I love the idea of drawing. I am not a very good drawer. So I have my little sketchbook out here because what I've been doing yesterday and today is I've just taken some time to just start practicing. And I really was on a roll. I just kept like doing one after another after another. And I have no idea if you can see this because the only things I've been using is a Staedtler Mars Technico pencil, mechanical pencil. It is a super, super, super soft lead. Is it soft lead or hard lead? It writes really, really, really soft, which I like because then I don't feel like I have to be committed to it. So if I make a bad mark, I can erase it. And I then have my 3 erasers. I have my Staedtler Mars Plastic. I have my Pentel Click eraser, which is, I think it's the same type of eraser, but it's in a click form, so I can get a little bit smaller, get closer to erase. And then I have a Tough Stuff eraser stick, which is really fine, and it's kind of a hard eraser, which I really like because it gets to the really teeny tiny places. And I am one of those artists that I feel like it doesn't matter how long it takes you to draw something out. If you're happy with the end result, that's exactly the way that you need to be doing it. I also am a firm believer that you need to art in whatever manner makes you feel comfortable in arting. So if you want to draw it out, sketch it out, and pencil first, and then erase your little heart away to anything you don't want, because that's the way that I art, I am absolutely a firm supporter of that. I do know there's some artists that say, you know, you should just commit at the get-go and put it down in ink. Or some of the artists I know, they sketch out in colored pencil. Those are all excellent ideas just for myself because I am so new. I really needed some way to give myself a little boost of confidence, and I did that by giving myself permission to start over by erasing an eye and erasing an eye and erasing an eye. And one of the things I've been doing this the last 2 days is I have just been going through Jane Davenport's Faces book, and I just flip the page, and every single image that I come to, I've been trying to sketch it out. So that's, a lot of these came from that. Some of them, like this second one, is my drawing. It's my, out of my own head. I think that one came out of Jane's book. It's one of Jane's eyes. I had some paint in this sketchbook already. For me, putting acrylic paint or ink into a sketchbook, for me, takes the pressure off of myself because it's already kind of messy. And so I don't feel like it has to be so precious. Here's another one of Jane's. I really struggle. Okay, I really hate this hair, by the way, but I really struggle with eyelashes. Eyelashes are hard for me. I love eyelashes. I love the idea of them in my pictures. They just look terrible. And then this was one I did this morning. I love, I think I've got my faces. They're not perfect by any means. I have so much more practice to do. But I really like my faces. I like the way I do my necks. I do my neck a combination between Kelly Ray Roberts style and Jane Davenport style, and then I put my own spin on it because I really like long neck girls, kind of like a cartoony kind of long neck girl. But I struggle a lot with hair. Like if you look at this first one that I had done out of my own imagination, she kind of looks like she has a helmet head. I did a little tweaking to it this morning, so it's not quite as bad as it was when I first drew it, but it does look kind of helmety head. So what I did was last night, right before bed, I saved a bunch of pictures from vintage sewing patterns because they have some beautiful drawings on the front of sewing patterns. I don't know if you know that or not. So I just picked a hairstyle that I liked off of the sewing pattern, and because of the way that they're drawn, they're really easy to kind of copy and figure out like the structure on how they actually drew it. So this hairstyle in my head was very similar to this style. I just couldn't make that translate. This one looks like she's got like a little Lego hair stuck on her head, and this one looks more like she's got like hair. So that's what I've been doing this week. I've been doing that a lot. I have not really been doing a lot in my Soulbook, so today I thought I would just play in my Soulbook and let you watch. And honestly, I have no idea what I'm gonna do, but this page bothers me because it just drives me a little banana, so I thought I would go in and start playing with it. I've got a palette and a paper towel for daubering off my paintbrush. And I have this paintbrush. It is a size 30. It's Simply Simmons XL flat size 30. I've never used it before and I want to use it. And because I don't like this, I think we're gonna like use this as a background. And I'm going to take, I have a very limited color palette in front of me right now, and I'm gonna take this into a completely different way. Probably so much more stereotypical Chrissie than what this page actually looks like right now. So. And I'm just adding some white, some inexpensive craft paint, and I'm hoping that the colors will just kind of blend together on the brush because I did not actually clean the brush. So there'll be some areas with white, and there'll be some areas with the turquoise, and there'll be some areas with like a combination of the two, just a lighter turquoise. And again, I don't really have a plan, I just want to play. In all honesty, I did not want to come record a video this week. I really just want to keep drawing. And I probably will put, what I'm thinking about doing with my drawings is something that I've been hearing a lot of other artists do, and I think it's a great idea. And that is, they take some of their drawings, the ones that they like the most, the ones that they feel like they really did a good job on, and they'll scan them into their computer and then print them off over and over and over again. So that's why some of my images don't have a lot of detail on them, and most of them don't have any shading of any kind. And that is so that I can scan it into my computer, print them off, cut them out, and like paste them down and then like create around them. That's the idea behind that. So I'm sure that you'll see that in the coming weeks because I'm really excited about that idea. And like I said, I don't really have a plan here. But I'm just gonna keep going and keep going until I feel like I'm either stuck or I feel like this page has made me happy and I can move on. And if I get stuck, you know, if you've been watching my channel at all, you'll know that when I get stuck, I just turn the page and work on something else. And then something in the future will come to me about what to do on this page. And I'll give that a little rinse. I like this brush. I like that it's really firm and the bristles kind of bounce back a little bit. I have a hard time controlling paintbrushes where the bristles are too soft and they just kind of want to flop around on me. I have a feeling that there is like a point, there's a purpose to those types of brushes. I just haven't figured out how to use them yet. So I think that's primarily because I'm almost completely self-taught. I just kind of play and figure things out on my own. Okay, because I'm still not really sure where to go with this page, I want to get some washi out and just do some washi out on top of it. And because again, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I ultimately want to be doing. I'm just going to choose a few washis. For this particular page, I think I'm going to go with some really matte washies. I do keep all of my washi tape on embroidery hoops. I have 3 large ones and I really need another one now because I have discovered washi tape on Etsy. Holy cow. They have the cutest washi tapes on Etsy. And yeah, so let's just say I may be entering a 12-step program. Yeah, I have quite a lot and I'm gonna need another embroidery hoop, one for all of my new Etsy washis. Don't tell my hubby. I'm choosing matte washi so that way whatever I put on top of it won't slide around. I don't mind using shiny washis if it's the last thing I'm putting on my page, but if it's something that's in one of my layers, I really like to keep it matte, keep everything matte. I like matte paint, matte washi, matte gel medium, whatever it is. And I really have no plan. I honestly don't. I hope that's okay. I have a feeling though there's a lot of you out there as well who don't really have a plan. They just kind of want to play and just go with it. So. Okay, okay, so that's where I'm at so far. I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of like winging it. I love the turquoise, I love the purple, I love the blue. I'm not digging the red so much. I may have to white those out some more. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm gonna put some pink on my page. Some kind of bright magenta would be pretty, I think. I'm keeping my brush pretty dry. And I do that because I think I can, when my paintbrush is rather dry, one, I really like the brush strokes. I think they give a lot of texture to the page. The other thing is I feel like I can put some color down without having to commit to that particular color too much. Because I can cover it up rather easily because it's not very much paint. And again, I really like the paintbrush strokes. gonna rinse my brush off a little bit. I'm gonna put some sky down on my palette so I can make some of that. Oops, I put a lot of sky down on my palette, so we'll have to use some of it on this page and probably some of it on another page. But I'm gonna mix this blue and the pink together, my remaining pink. And let's see if I can get another color in here, maybe. Usually this works a little bit better if you let your undercoat dry rather well, which I have not done on this. But I'm gonna go for it anyways. And I'm gonna cover some of that washi because I don't want it to look perfect and I don't want it to look like it was plunked on after the fact. And I'm going to dry it because I like the way it's looking. I don't want to mess it up. A note about drying when you have washi tape on your page. Be careful not to hold your heat gun too long over any of the pieces of washi. It will melt the glue on the back and cause them to lift. If that becomes a problem, that's totally fine. Just grab some glue of some sort, gel medium, Yoo-hoo, glue stick, or whatever adhesive you have on hand, and go ahead and paste those little corners back down. I don't have that problem at the moment, but I kind of felt like I was going to have a problem with my little polka dotted little guy over here. And I think I'm pretty close on this one. Now I know that I do a lot of the same kind of art over and over and over again. I think it's just because I really like, one, I like the way that it turns out. Two, I like the process because my brain doesn't have to think very hard. It just kind of just does it. And that for me is working in circles, dashes, dots, that kind of thing. So I'm going to continue to do that here on this page. And I'm going to use two more of my Dina Wakley media brushes. I'm going to use the, I think it's like a medium round brush, and then her little small round brush. Forgive me if I'm saying that completely wrong because I do not claim to be an expert in any of this stuff. I just, like I said, I make this up as I go. I learned from my mistakes. I try to learn from my mistakes. And then I just try to share that with you. And just now, because of this, I've just decided that I want to do some round journaling, which I love. I haven't done that in a while. You have a few journaling options on this kind of a layout. So let me tell you what I think those options are. You can either journal like you normally would inside of the circles. You can journal along the washi tape as if the washi tape were lines. You can journal all along the whole outside. You can journal along the outside of the circles. You can use each circle separately, or you can just follow the shape of whatever it is that you're drawing. Those would be really cool. Adding some blue to my circles. Or you can journal right over the top of it and just really push this back into the background. Usually when I'm journaling in my Soulbook, sometimes I want to read it. Like when I'm taking notes for things I'm studying, I want to read those. But sometimes if I'm working through stuff in my head and I'm like working through that in my head on my Soulbook page, I don't always want to be able to read that. Especially since a lot of this for this year is going to end up on the internet. And I love you, but not all of my thoughts need to become your thoughts, if that makes sense. So, when I do my art journaling, I try really hard to make sure that my journaling, when I'm journaling in that type of manner, when I'm working a problem out, or maybe I'm dealing with some emotions that might be emotions that I don't want to share with the world, but I do need to like work it out in my Soulbook, then I will keep my handwriting loose and big and loopy and messy. Another thing that I can do to keep it maybe not quite so legible is I will use a water-soluble pen and, you know, write everything out in my normal handwriting. And then I'll take a water bottle and spray it and just let it kind of, the ink activate, drip, and run. That's a good way to do it. And honestly, I haven't decided how I'm going to do it for this particular page yet today. But I just know that I have options. So if you guys have other ideas on how you can journal in here on these pages, let me know in the comment section down below. That would be excellent, not only for myself, but for other people who might be viewing, especially for those who are new. And maybe if you're like me, a lot of your education has come from watching YouTube videos and then trying out some of the things that you see and mimicking some of the things that you see. That is a legitimate way to educate yourself on how to do this, how to play with different tools and mediums. Also, I wanted to make note, as this is a totally random, different note, but I wanted to make note that I have had a couple of, not complaints, because I don't want to say complaints. Complaints is not the right word, but I've had some people commenting that they were concerned that the music was a little too loud or it was difficult to hear through. And having that kind of brain myself, I absolutely get it. So just know that's why there's no music this week. It's not because I forgot it or anything. I'm just trying something new. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. If this helps, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd appreciate it. What I'm doing right now is I'm doing a little bit of mixing on my canvas because I really do like the painterly look of having these circles that have like different varying shades. Is that a word, varying? Variation? Having circles that have like different variations of shades and color in them. I also like to leave a little bit of like ridges and lumps and bumps to just have texture in there. If you're working with acrylic paint and you leave a ridge of paint, like I just left a ridge there, that ridge will dry if you leave it alone. And the way I got that ridge was basically just by taking my paintbrush and rolling, kind of pushing down hard and rolling it. That works rather well. This effect also works really well by not washing your brush. Okay. So I'm going to dry this really well because I know that I'm going to use a pen of some sort because I want to write with my handwriting. It'll probably be messy. I'm not working through anything at the moment, but I do like the way the loopy messy looks anyways. Because if you've watched my channel at all for any amount of time, and I'm not going to use that little brush, I changed my mind. If you've watched my channel for any time at all, you'll know that I really like messy, grungy kind of pages, and I really like that. So I'm going to dry this and I'll be right back. So I just finished telling you that I like the grungy look, and I don't, believe it or not, I do not feel like this page is quite grungy enough. So I'm gonna pull out some of my faves, which, as you already know, is a regular pencil, a fat pencil, which just happens to be a carpenter's pencil. I'm going to stamp some of the Dina Wakley's. These are new for me. I have used this one. I must have used it the night I got it. I'm gonna use a couple of these stencils, maybe one. I don't know, we're just gonna wing it. And I'm using a black archival ink. And I think I've been kind of leaning towards using other colors than black, but because I have this really dark black washi tape in here, I think that the dark black ink will really complement nicely. So let's see, do I want anything else? I have these awesome China markers that I've never actually ever used before. My only concern about using them is that if I do use them, then it might make it much more difficult to write over after the fact. So I have to kind of like figure that out in my head. I have a black and a white. I'm gonna set those up here so I don't forget them. I might not use them, but they're at the ready just in case. I'm just gonna start with that messy handwriting stamp. I really should get myself a really nice black, dark blue stamp pad. I think that would be really nice too. I just kind of like my stamps to kind of trail around the page a little bit, and I don't generally use a stamp block. Oops, I just smeared that. It's okay. Okay, so I had a slight interruption there. My hubby just brought me some Dutch Brothers because he's such a good man. Anyway, so back to my stamping. Where was I? Oh, I think I was up in this corner. And I'm just I let it kind of trail around. And I also really like to keep going until the stamp no longer really has ink on it, so it kind of grays out a little bit. You can kind of see that down here a little bit. And I think that's it. I think that's all the stamping I'm gonna do, believe it or not. Or is it? I think it is, maybe. Okay, we'll just go to my grungy pencils. My grungy pencils. And I'm gonna use the fat one first because I like it. I like to do that. I like to overwrite my circles. And I'm gonna take the smaller one. I'm gonna do some scribbly hash marks. So the way to do that, super easy. You just take your pencil one direction and scribble back and forth, and then take it the opposite direction and scribble it back and forth. And if you want it darker, you can go the next direction. Like, you can basically keep going over that until it's as dark as you want it. I don't generally need it too dark. It's really just for me about grunging up my page a little bit. It makes it look like I wasn't trying too hard. I wasn't trying really to make it perfect. Just adding a little bit of my own stank to it. Maybe stank is the wrong word, but you know what I'm saying. You got it. I know you guys are smart cookies, you know. Perfect. Now, decisions have to be made because I have to pick a pen to use. And I've been finding that my writing pens have not been working as nicely as I want them to because I haven't been taking the best care with them. And when I say that, I mean, you really, really, really have to make sure that all of the mediums that you have laid down are completely dry before you use any of your writing pens. It will kill them. If you get any acrylic ink into the ballpoint of the pen, it'll dry in there, and you might as well just toss the pen because it's not going to work for you any longer. I need paper. I'm in an art studio. How come I can't find paper? Okay, I'm going to use this little package I just got in the mail. I just want to test to make sure my pen works. And it does. It's beautiful. And I'm not going to try it. This is that, it's a big intensity click gel retractable roller. I got it from 4 Imprint. It's the only place I could find it. I found these originally. I used to work at a hospital, and we used to have like vendors come in all the time, and this happened to be like a home health vendor. Had a bunch of these pens. Loved it so much, used it on one of my art journal pages, and it worked beautifully. It wrote all over everything. So, and I'm going to just kind of get into my own head and do some writing. So, okay. So I'm not quite sure I'm done just yet. I love my scribbly printing, my scribbly journaling. I'm now going to use these wax pens, the China markers, and I'm just going to do the same thing, but I'm going to focus. The pencil, I kind of scribble all over the whole thing. For these, because the marks are so dark, I'm going to kind of focus on staying more towards the center. And because this is the first time I've literally the first time I've ever used these, I don't really know what to expect, but I'm going to just go with it. And then I kept my pen, my journaling pen out just in case I want to add more marks. But I just made the decision that I want to make some marks with my China marker. And I think what I'll do is I'll just do some random dashes in some of these darker areas. Because I can. Because I can. Moulin Rouge reference, just so you know. Man, why have I not used these markers before? Holy cow, I love them. My dashes, I realize my dashes have started to like change direction a little bit, which is fine. I'm just gonna go with it. Yeah. There's a part of me that wants to do like big swoopies. I don't know if I want to do swoopies or what would I normally do? Who knows? What the heck do I normally do? I grew up in music. I've been playing instruments and singing for as long as I can remember. So one of my favorite doodles growing up that I would doodle on everything was a music staff with a treble clef and a 4/4 time, and I would choose whatever key I wanted my doodle to be in. So this particular doodle I do a lot. I just start with a staff, which is 5 lines, and then I basically go the other direction over top of it. Yeah. Am I done? I think I'm done. Yeah, okay, we're gonna put it down, say I'm done. I'm gonna get my stamp out. I don't always do this, but I really like stamping to tell me when one of my pieces are done. It's my girlfriend's birthday today. I really should call her and say, happy birthday. And then where do I want you? I have this nice little clean spot right there. And there's a part of me that wants to like, okay, my camera cut out again. Sorry about that. I am all done. I hope that you saw all of that. I hope you also enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you do. Let me know what you think about the music versus the no music. I'm cool either way. It actually saves me a little bit of time by not using the music. But really, I'm really here to serve. So if the music is great for you, then let me know. If the music is not great for you, let me know. And I hope that you enjoyed my messy page today. Yeah, I have no idea what this week is going to bring, but I am excited. I think that it's going to be a good one, and I hope it is for you too. Until next time, bye for now.